from the tough tracks to the remote tracks, from our campsites to the workshops. Come along and check out Great Off-Road Adventures. Your next episode is just seconds away.
Nice.
Good morning everybody, welcome back to, as you'd expect, another very lovely and peaceful night's camp at Ellie's Pool here on Murchison House Station. It was clear and cloud free for the majority of it, and I did get some awesome time lapses as you would have seen. So now the plan for us, we've just had some brekkie, some bacon egg burritos, bacon egg wraps. We're just going to quickly pack up a few bits and pieces around camp. If you have those Helinox chairs or another lightweight, cheaper alternative like them, you'll know that they blow over for absolutely nothing. And in the slightest wind, they will tip forwards to the point where I nearly lost my one in campfire today, this trip. So yes, anyway, so we'll lay them down probably under the camper just to stop them getting blown away. If the wind gets up, I don't anticipate it will. And then yeah, the plan for today, we will depart from our camp and continue upstream up the river road. There's a few little four-wheel drive sections like the rocky climb immediately behind our camp that you would have seen. And there's also just some great scenery and that shots and that sort of thing that we want to show you. We did not have any more rain overnight, so I do fully anticipate the jump up will be open today. That's what the station owners told me yesterday. So we'll go up the river road, jump on the inland track and come back down the inland track down the jump up. And that'll be really nice because the view from top of jump up is yeah, very, very nice. Especially as you can see all the way down to Kelbarry and all the way down to the river. It's pretty cool. So that's the plan. Today probably won't be as big a day or as long a day as yesterday. Anticipate we'll probably be back to camp around late lunchtime. And that'll suit us well because it is our last day today of our trip. So that'll allow us a little bit of time this afternoon just to sit around, relax, enjoy the trip. And then I'll pack up a few bits and pieces like tables and Webbers, hot water systems, stuff that we don't need anymore. That'll make my life then a little bit easier tomorrow morning when we've got to pack up the rest of the camper and head on back home. So yeah. Anyway, let's jump in the car and hit the tracks. Well everyone, I'm calling on you for your support. 2/3 of you are not subscribed to Great Off-Road Adventures, and your best way to support us, and it's completely free, is by subscribing to our channel. So if you haven't done so already, now's the perfect time to do so. As you make your way along the river road, you come to a junction on the track that heads up to a spot called Stonewall Soak. Now, there's a goat catching paddock set up here by the station owners. It's quite intriguing to see how it works. At this stage it's all open because it's wet season, there's water everywhere, so the gates are open. But essentially what happens are the goats run up the ramps, jump into the paddock. In dry season all the gates will be shut, they'll be stuck in that paddock, which is where the water source is, because obviously that's what attracts the goats and the animals. And then they'll come through and they'll muster them up from there. So it's not like your traditional mustering that you would have seen with helicopters and quad bikes and all that. It's quite clever in a sense that obviously animals need water to survive. So as the station dries out through the summer months, there's select water sources that they've got like that, which are enclosed to allow and to catch the goats. But also up here at Stonewall Soak, come right up to this rock wall along the back here. It's starting to stand back and look at the rock wall, but if you come right up to it, you're quite high and you got a really cool view out over the valley. And yeah, so I said, as you make your way up River Road, there's a few four-wheel drive challenges, but there's also some really nice scenic shots that are worth checking out. So we'll jump back in the car, keep going and show you the rest. If you're particularly precious of your paintwork, I would invest in some bush barriers or rhino hide, something to protect it before heading up to Murchison House. Tracks are fairly narrow in some places and you're going to get some pinstripes, no two ways about it. Just remember, animals and wildlife like this are the livelihood of the station owners. So be responsible, do the right thing, and areas like this will stay open for all the rest of us to enjoy. The river road is slow going at times over the rocks, but the views, as I've said in the past, really do make it worthwhile. And look, going slow does help you absorb and take in the views. So. As you will have seen, most of the forward driving around Murchison House Station and Upriver Road is not all too serious. Most of the more challenging stuff has chicken shacks around it, which makes it suitable for a fairly stock four-wheel drive. Well, this old grader here got caught in the river the one year that it flooded. I'm not sure how long ago that was.
2000.
Jess has corrected me, it's the year 2000. So 22 years ago. I'll probably flick the key in it and turn straight over, right? Trusty old cat. All jokes aside, we were laughing how the front two tyres appear that they at least still have air in them. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, so that grader there got caught in the old river crossing that's behind us. This river crossing is no longer used anymore. You're not permitted to use it. And it goes into the national park on the other side. There's actually no way from there to get out to the main road or anything. So yeah, this is the top end of River Road. From here we will probably, well, from here we have to meander back onto the inland tracks. But there's a couple more spots here that I just want to check out that I've seen on the satellite image and whatnot. So yeah, we'll hopefully be able to go and find those and see what they look like. If they're any good, we'll show them to you. And then we'll cruise back by the inland road, show you the sights. There's some pretty spectacular scenery along there as well. And yeah, cruise back towards camp. That is a scary amount of water. Because you think for that to be there, you'd have water here across that whole valley, across all these trees.
I was going to say, look at all the debris.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For all that debris to collect there, that's got to have been due to water flow. So water flow has to have been this high. So that's over all of these trees. From Beatty's Crossing, one of the sort of tracks that I'd seen and plotted on satellite image, brought us to this spot. It's called Wilgamia. Now, it's not on the Murchison House station paperwork that they give you, but as Jess and I sort of discovered yesterday, some of the stuff along the coast not on there either. That sort of paperwork focuses on River Road upstream and downstream, which is the main sort of accessible areas for day tripping and exploring for probably 95% of visitors here. Those people, I guess, like Jess and I, and maybe even some of you that want to explore a little bit further, there's hidden gems out here to find just by sort of combing the satellite image and dropping a few spots and sussing them out. So that's how I found this spot, and it blows me away. Like, how cool is this? This is a seriously big pool of water as well. This will be a year-round pool of water, judging by its depth and its size, and also by what the HEMA map tells me. But to be literally jammed between rocky outcrop and the river, it looks like there's quite good river access as well. I would have loved to have camped here for a few days, just sort of set ourselves up and chilled. That being said, like we saw before, there can be a serious amount of water flow down this river, especially after big sort of cyclone events and rain events that drop a lot of rain inland. Murchison River is one of the big drainage rivers from a large inland catchment. And yeah, I guess it's scary, but the water level to come up 10 meters and drop wood, like you can see there in the tree, and like we were looking at up there before, it makes sense. But yeah, it's crazy, because this valley here is 300 meters wide to the other side. For water to be there, it would be across this whole valley. And that's the bit that's hard to fathom. Like, that is just such a serious amount of water. It's crazy. We realised at about this point that we might have a few issues making our way back towards camp along this track. Well, that was always going to happen, hitting the rear bar. It was either going to hit the bull bar or the rear bar, one or the other. But yeah, we walked up and down this washout creek for probably the last 15 minutes trying to find possible spots to cross. There was one further up, it was going to be much more angled and I'd need to put some sticks and stuff in, or it was this one here. This one here obviously didn't look like I needed to do any track building, and we were able to drive straight through it. So, whew. Onwards we go. Yeah, big problems trying to find our way through here. Well, we have a small problem, and that is the road we were planning to take, I think it's called the pipeline track, from the end of River Road back to the homestead. I'm standing in the middle of it, what remains of it. So it's end of May, start of June 2022, and Kilbarry have had one cyclone and the remnants of a second cyclone come through here in the last 2 years. So in August 2019 we drove this track when we were up here with Variety, and again when we visited personally in October 2019 we drove this track as well, and it was a clearly defined easy track to follow, and it would have gotten us back to the homestead probably in about half an hour to an hour from the end of River Road. But with it being in that condition, and I was starting to see less and less tyre tracks, I would say that's road closed. I just can't see where it goes. Like, we've had a walk up there and yeah, I don't think it's open at all. So I would say we're going to have to turn around, go back through some of those washouts and find another way back to the homestead and back to camp. Well, a quick consult of the HEMA and another little walk around to suss out the lay of the land. And we did manage to find a way around this section of the washouts and continue along the pipeline track. Well, that is typically what happens when you get hung up on your bar work. If you don't have enough suspension articulation, you are left with your wheels not getting traction on the ground. Now, I'm lucky I have a pretty good traction control system that I did manage to utilise to drive through this, but I did make an error and I left the car in high range instead of low range. Had it been in low range, it would have been far more effective and I would have made this look a lot easier. Anyway, you live and you learn. I won't make that mistake again. the washouts and the water damage just kept on coming. Fortunately though for us, we were making good progress and getting closer and closer to camp. We forged on regardless, confident of the fact that we should be alright and we should be able to get through. Failing that, we have recovery gear worst case. Well, a few detours, side tracks, and a couple washouts still, and we did make our way finally here to the spot that they call the jump up. It's not hard to see why. It's a magic spot, but it is right on the edge of this escarpment, and as I walk over to the edge, I will show you how steep it is and also the view, because it is hard to beat. It's a very peaceful, lovely day as well. There's not a breath of wind up here, honestly, not a breath. So it's a nice spot to stand and take in the view. You'll struggle to see it on this camera, but I'll get some other shots. In the distance over there, you can see the Murchison River mouth and the town side of Kalbarri. You've got some of the old workshops and whatnot for the station here. And then if you look carefully through the distance, you'll be able to find the old home, you find the current homestead as well. But yeah, it's a nice spot to stop for 5, 10, 15 minutes, take it all in. Well, capping off our exploration around Murchison House station was another group of wildlife. This time in the paddock, a full family of emus, along with a few goats, and of course just across the other side of the track were the very friendly cows. Not too fussed at all with the 4-ton Land Cruiser just rolling through. Didn't seem to bother them at all. Arriving back at camp, we were met with the lovely orange colours as the sun started to go down and all the wildlife started to chorus along the banks of the Murchison River. It was a bloody fantastic way to see out the afternoon and our last day of the trip, just to sit around and relax and enjoy the sounds of the bush. Well everyone, that is our time at Murchison House Station complete. The tyres are aired up and also signifies the end of this trip. Now, did you enjoy it?
Loved it.
So guys, if you've enjoyed watching this trip, we've thoroughly enjoyed showing it to you. Do us a favour, if you want to support Great Off-Road Adventures, you want to help us out, get out here, film more content, get more content for you guys to watch and enjoy, like the videos, subscribe to the channel, enable notifications by clicking the bell, and share the videos with your friends. That's the best way to support us. You know the deal. How do we sign off, Jess?
Happy, safe adventures.
Yep.
Yes.
Happy, safe adventures. Stay safe on the tracks and trails. Hopefully one day we'll see you out here. If not, we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah.
See ya.